Hi guys. So I am going to move on to the next lesson with you guys. Hopefully the video yesterday worked out and you guys were able to follow along and understand. Again, just bear with me. I'm struggling a little bit with speaking, but I'm going to do my very best here. And if I have to stop, I will just encourage you guys to keep going on your own. I think you'll be happy to see that today's lesson is actually quite simple. I'm going to be teaching you a very simple formula to use. And it's just going to be a little bit repetitive, but it should be easy for you guys. So, okay, here you guys do have a do now. If you would prefer to pause it and try it on your own, you can. If not, you can keep watching and we could do it together. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to find the axis of symmetry, which I know I've only spoken to you guys once. But as a reminder, that's that imaginary line. So the dotted line. It's a vertical line, so it goes up and down, and it goes right through the middle. So it makes your parabola, your U, nice and symmetric on both sides, even on both sides. So that means if it's going straight through the middle, it's also going to go through the vertex, because the vertex is that middle point, either at the very bottom or very top of your quadratic. So again, I know my grids. I'm sorry, I tried to figure it out. It just does not work on my iPad. We're going to graph these, and then we're going to use the graph to figure out what the axis of symmetry is and our vertex. So I would like you to take a second, because this is important. You guys can do this on your own. Put this into your y equals. Type this in exactly the way it looks. Click on graph so you can see what it looks like, and then second graph. To spare time and my voice, I am going to keep going, but feel free to pause at this point so everybody can go ahead on their own and plug this in the calculator to make sure we're all on the same page with the calculator. Again, I don't have it on here, so I will be using Desmos. So I already graphed this one on my Desmos, so here it is for us. This is what it looks like on my end, and I have the table here as well. So when you go to your second graph, you should be able to see the same table that I have. You might need to scroll. Look at my x values. I have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you're up in -10 or you're all the way down on +15, you just have to scroll up and down. Try to get to these numbers. We want numbers that will fit on our graph. If you're looking at big numbers, 15, 20, 30, we can't fit those on a graph. So why look at them? There's no point. So just scroll until you find numbers that will fit. Looking at my graph right now, or at my table, I can already tell where my rainbow is, where my vertex is. So I'm looking at 2, -3 right now, these two. And then on the sides, I know you can't really see, I have -2, -2, 1, 1, 6, 6. So it matches up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my table on my paper. I recommend you guys do the same. And then I can't graph it, but I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and graph it on your own. So let's see, we have x, y. I'm just copying now. Okay, so we have -1, 6, 0, 1, 1, -2, 2, -3, 3, -2, 4, 1, and 5, 6. Here's my vertex, because here's the rainbow. -2 matches with -2, 1 matches with 1, 6 matches with 6. So at this point, I will ask you guys to graph these points. You have a nice picture. Make sure you have arrows and label. Now down here, it says, what is a vertex? We just found it. So I'm going to write 2, -3. And now if your axis of symmetry is a vertical line, looks like this. Well, really it looks like this because it's dotted. You remember vertical, that's Vux. So we write it as x equals, and if it's cut through your vertex, that means it has to cut through this x value, so you just copy it. So that means x equals 2. Okay. Again, just pause. I know everyone's probably graphing at this point. I don't want to rush anybody. Take as long as you need to do it. And then when you're ready, you can unpause. And we're going to move on to number 2. Same idea. We're going to graph. Hopefully you all notice, oh, I have a negative. That means it's negative. So a negative person is sad. It's going to look like a down face. And 2 meaning A is greater than 1, means it's going to become narrower. Even though it doesn't seem like it makes any sense. It's getting bigger. Why would it get narrower? But that's just how it is. Think opposite. I'm going to graph this one. I have not graphed this one yet, so just bear with me. You should all be doing the same on your calculator. Let's see. I'm going to add a few more points to my table here. Okay, I'm already seeing it. Seeing a rainbow. So this is what the graph should look like if you're looking at the picture. I could zoom out a little so you guys can see. Our vertex is right in the middle. I'm wondering if this will let me write on here. No, it will not. Okay. All right, so I'm going to write our points down on my table. So we got -1, -3, 0, 3, 1, 5, 2, 3, 3, -3. Here's the rainbow, 3 and 3, -3, -3. If you keep going, it gets too big. It goes to -13, and we can't fit that on our graph. So that means vertex is smack in the middle. So you can write the vertex down here, 1, 5. Axis of symmetry is always going to be written as x equals something. So that x is whatever your x is. X is 1. Okay, again, at this time, pause whatever you have to pause. Graph your points. Put your arrows. Label. And get everything down. Even you can draw your axis of symmetry. No rush. I don't want to rush anybody. Take your time on this. And when you guys are ready with me, we're going to move on to the new formula I'm going to teach you. Okay, sorry, things got all weird when it copied over to my iPad. So this is not how it should look on your paper. Hopefully it looks normal. So basically what I'm going to teach you guys today is how to find the axis of symmetry and the vertex without graphing it. So it's a very simple formula. So if you ever have to, or you don't have your calculator or whatever the case, and you can't look at the graph and you need to do it algebraically, this is how you're going to do it. I'm going to rewrite this correctly. So there's a formula for the axis of symmetry, and it looks like this. X equals -b over 2a. Now your b and your a are going to come from your standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to grab it from here and from here. And all you're going to do is plug in. And you're going to get the x value. But we know that yes, this will give us the axis of symmetry, because the axis of symmetry is an equation that looks like x equals something. So that's exactly what you're going to get from this. But then we need the vertex, and the vertex is a point. So lovely, we have the x value that we could put right here. But now we need to find the y value. So I want you to think for a second how we might do that, even though it's written right in front of you. So but I want to show you guys an example before I just jump into it. So let's take a look. So here we have a quadratic. Okay. We should be able to immediately write down our A, B, and C. You guys know how to do this. A is 1. B is, make sure you include your signs. -8, not 8. C is -9, not 9. Okay. Negative. Okay. Now, for the axis of symmetry, this is a formula you need to memorize. You're going to write this down. X equals -b over 2a. Okay, so just make sure everyone has this. I'm going to wait a second. Okay, and now pretty simple. All we're going to do is plug in. So we're going to copy this again. X equals, but now -b is negative what? Let's look at what our b is. Our b is -8. This negative and this negative, you can already guess what's going to happen. You do need to write them both. The negative doesn't go away just because this was already negative. They both have to be there. And you should all know what happens when you have two negatives. We'll get there in a second. Over 2a. So we're going to plug in the a, which is 1. Let's simplify this. Two negatives make a positive. This is really positive 8 over 2 times 1 is 2. And now 8 divided by 2 is 4. So x equals 4. You just got your axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is always written as x equals because it's a vertical line. And with vertical lines, we say vux. V-U-X, x means x equals. Okay, just repeating myself so we all understand. Vertex. We know vertex is a point. We already got our x value because that comes from the axis of symmetry. Our x value is 4. So how do you think we're going to get this y value? I'm going to pause and see if anyone can, I know I can't hear you, but the TAs can hear you. So if anyone wants to volunteer and say how we're going to find the y value, what do you guys think? Okay, hopefully somebody said, well, if we know the x value, then we could just take it and plug it back into the original equation because that will give us the y. So let's do it. I'm going to put it over here. Y equals, so anywhere I see x, we're going to put 4. Oh, sorry. So we have 4 squared minus 8 times 4 minus 9. All right, so then if we do that math, you could plug this whole thing in the calculator if you want, or you could break it down a little bit. So we have 4 squared is 16, minus 8 times 4 is 32, minus 9. And if you do 16 minus 32 minus 9, you should get negative 25. And there's your y. That's it. You got your axis of symmetry and you got your vertex. So literally we're just plugging in. So I'm going to do 2 more with you, and due to my voice that I'm struggling with a little bit right now, I'm going to have you guys do the rest on your own. It's the same thing over and over again, so I think you guys will all be fine. If you don't get a chance to finish in class, just finish for homework tonight. So we're going to do A is 2, B is 8, C is negative 1. Okay. You're going to write down x equals negative b over 2a. You're going to start plugging in. X equals negative b. B is 8, so negative 8. 2 times a, which is 2. Simplify this. Negative 8 over 2 times 2 is 4. And negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. I will pause now so you can make sure you have this written down. Okay, now that we have our axis of symmetry, we can use it to find our vertex. We already know that x is now negative 2, so now we need y. Go back to the original equation and plug in your new x value. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit, guys, so I'm going to just kind of do it without talking too much. Okay, hopefully you were able to do this and get the same answer as me. So you should get negative 9. Oh, also in this problem, it wants to know, will your parabola be have a max or a min? So that one means if it's a max, that's where a max and min are always referring to the vertex. So if it's a max, it has to be at the top. In order for it to be at the top, it needs to be one of our U's that or parabolas that open downward, because that means the vertex would be here all the way at the tippy top. This is a max. A min would have to mean that it's our normal parabola where it opens like a smiley face. And that means our vertex, this is at the bottom, so it's the min. So we know if it's going to open upward, it has a min. If it opens downward, it has a max. So looking at the original function, do we think that this is going to be an upward parabola or downward parabola? So our leading coefficient is positive. It's not negative, it's a positive 2. So it opens upward, and because it opens upward, we have a min. So our vertex here is a minimum. It's at the bottom of the graph. Okay, one more with you guys. I'm sorry, I'm starting to struggle a little bit. Okay, so our A is 1, our B is -4, and our C is 0. There's nothing there. Write down our formula. Feel free to pause if you want and keep going on your own, and then you could double check or just keep following with me. I'm going to plug in now negative, so -4 over 2 times 1 because A is 1. Double negatives make a +4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So x equals 2. That's your axis of symmetry. I will pause for a second so you can write that. Okay. Now we have our half of our vertex because x is 2, so 2 would go right there. But now we need our y, so we're going to use this to help us. Y equals, anywhere you see x, you're going to put 2. 2 squared minus 4 times 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 minus 8 is a -4. So that's our y. So we're good with our vertex. Now the question is this vertex a min or a max? So if it's a min, remember it's got an open upward. If it's a max, it has to open downward. So just look at the A. The A is 1, a positive 1. If it's positive, it's going to be a positive person. It smiles, it's happy, so we have a happy face. It's opening up, it's opening upward. So this again, another min. Okay. So as you guys can see, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to use the formula. Just make sure that you memorize this formula, -b over 2a. Plug it in, get your axis of symmetry, and then use that to get your vertex. And then just don't forget about upward, downward, min, and max. All right, so for the rest of the period, I want you to work on 4 through 7. Oh, and number 8. 8 is just a review. All you're going to do is put this in the calculator and graph. That's all. Nothing fancy. Just don't forget arrows and labels. Sorry, my handwriting here is atrocious. Okay. And if you guys don't finish, just try to finish for homework. See what you can do on your own. And then I will cover this for you guys on Friday so that you can check your answers. All right, everybody. Miss you all. Heard you're doing great. And I will see you all soon. Bye.